Hello and welcome to episode 126 of the Boot Nerds podcast. JayMike, what's going on?
Look, things are good in Denmark. I am excited. I think this is the first time in a while that we have, actually two podcasts in as many weeks. So that's good to be back. A lot of things are happening at the moment, guys. So bear with us. We're making as many podcasts as we can. But Josh, how are things in Canada?
Things
Snowy,
are great.
windy?
No, not cold. The
Wow.
cold is coming, though. It looks like we are a couple days out from the weather getting completely miserable, but it's actually been really nice last week.
Okay. So basically, you're going around this circle of like, no matter which time of year it is, where you're just a couple of days away from potential snow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's like the Canada circle, I guess. You're all super happy, and it snows all the time. That's like it's like my very prejudiced opinion of Canada. I've never been. I really want to go. But anyways, Josh, today we are talking about something that's very cool, and I guess a lot of people will have an opinion on. So, of course, if you do, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section right down below where you can tell us what you think, but also if you think that we have completely lost our collective minds, which there's a good chance you might actually think, because today we are rating the best colorway for every generation so far of the Mercurial. And it's as simple as it sounds. It was a tough one. We spent some time before this discussing, just so we have some sort of direction of where we want to go. But of course, we still don't agree completely. So should we just jump straight into it?
Yep,
or do you have anything you want to share before?
No, I think it's a pretty self-explanatory topic. Let's get right into it.
Right. So the very first Mercurial, obviously the Mercurial 98, probably the most, the easiest of them all, because there were a couple of colorways, but for me it has to be the R9, or the OG, right?
Mm-hmm. Has to be. I don't think that there's many people that would fight you on that one.
No. Especially when you have Ronaldo's signature on it. Just, I'm not gonna brag or anything, but this is an amazing colorway. Such an iconic boot and so far ahead of its time. It can only be that, right?
Yeah, and I think so important for what the Mercurial line would eventually become, in that it's kind of about being a little bit flashy. So as cool as the more plain black one with the white lines is,
yeah,
it's not representative of what the Mercurial line would be, which is why I think that colorway, along with the boot, was so ahead of its time.
Yeah, and I actually think the black-white colorway looks better on the Vapor 3 as the 10th anniversary edition, but we're going to get back to that. Match Merc then came out in 2000. This is the only one of the boot that I have, the only colorway I have, and that's the chrome black. And you kind of liked that, didn't you?
I do. I like the chrome because I think that, again, it's something that you didn't see a lot of back then, but I also kind of feel like they did the chrome thing with the 98 Mercurial, which is why I think one of the standouts for a boot that many would argue is probably the least attractive out of every generation of Mercurial that has ever existed. Which is funny. I think the bronze one is the one that kind of jumps in my head as being the most visually interesting.
I know what you're saying. And this is where we don't necessarily agree. I like the bronze. I think they're cool. But for me, that black and blue match Mercurial is just absolutely phenomenal. And something that to this day, I would still really like to have. Especially, can you imagine a remake with this upper on a modern tooling? That would be... It's still a really good football boot, actually. A little heavy, but for something that came out 21 years ago, I enjoyed when I occasionally wear my Match Mercs. So I would say black, blue, I can live with the bronze.
Okay.
I can live with the bronze. You make a good point there. Vapor ones then. Lots of cool colorways. And what's
pretty unanimous on this one, I think.
But yes, we were. But then I picked it on my shelf and I realized, hey, I might like this one better.
The orange ones. And I was also thinking the orange ones are really cool as well. But for me, I think it has to be the chrome lime.
The chrome lime is amazing. Yeah.
I loved that football boot. And I remember seeing them as a kid thinking, wow, those look like a spaceship. Like it just Nothing
it's crazy
had a look like the Vapor 1 at that time.
Yeah, and it's crazy, how the white, the chrome white is good, and I like that, but the chrome lime just has that little extra, something, the little sauce on top that you just gotta appreciate, right? And the extra, what do you call that? Shininess, for lack of a better word. I think that, but on the other hand, an orange boot like that, it is not something that I recall us seeing. So that was 2002. Okay, fair enough. We had seen some pretty wild colorways of the Preds already, but it still stands out for me as something that I would be happy to wear today. But chrome limes, yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, okay, sweet.
If we don't agree on this one, it's the end of the podcast. Friendship over. We go back to hating each other like a lot of people still think we do. So, but now it's official. Now I'm joking. For me, the best colorway of the Vapor 2 has to be the R9 Golds. Which is just it's phenomenal, right? I like the photo blues. I like the reds, really cool. But these are very, very good.
I think that's the definite standout, because I think a lot of people look at Vapor 1 and 2 and think, wow, they're very similarly styled football boots. And I just feel like the colorways across the board for the Vapor 1 were a little bit stronger than Vapor 2, but the gold one definitely stands out as being really unique and fitting for R9 for sure.
I definitely agree. And it's just such an iconic, Ronaldo rocking them, both of them actually, a young Cristiano and Ronaldo rocking those. It was just the ultimate definition of swag back in the day. I really, really appreciate those. Now, Josh, it was a little bit more difficult for me and maybe for us both for the Vapor 3. Because the first thing I said when you said Vapor 3 was 10th anniversary, and you quickly said to me that, it has to look like the Vapor 3. So the 10th anniversary doesn't count.
I really like 10th anniversary as well. And that one does pop in my head as being a really cool looking football boot. I think that's flown under the radar over all these years.
Look.
But, Nike's put that design on so many Mercurials over the years, and I feel like it looks good every time.
Yeah, but that one with that bigger swoosh and the whole overall look of I feel like the Vapor 3 was such a sexy silhouette. And, it just had that something special about it. It looked fast. It had a little bit more like body and character to it, and that bigger swoosh on the, oh my Lord, it fantastic. But we can't choose that. So I went for there were lots of great colorways. You could argue the launch colorway cool, but the zinc ones, the zinc orange ones, I like them.
Those are super unique. I'll give you that. But I think that's probably unique, one of my
that means you don't rate them.
It's one of my least favorite colorways of Vapor 3. It really is.
That's a good way of saying
I think Vapor 3 is the best looking Mercurial design they've ever done. Yeah. It's so clean. The silhouette is perfect. The boot's horribly uncomfortable, and if you wear it right now, it's shocking compared to how much Mercurials have changed over the years. But aesthetically, man, that's a good-looking football boot.
I agree. And yet, it's not the worst fitting or worst Mercurial in terms of comfort of those years, because they made some shocking decisions after the Vapor 3 as well.
They sure did. Before. So I would really be between three colorways for Vapor 3.
3 colorways, okay. Hit me.
I love the launch white, black swoosh, gold heel.
Classic.
Love those. I am also a big fan of the R9 Brazil colorway. Yellow boots, green heel, little black swoosh. Very cool football boots. Always wanted a pair as a kid, never had them.
Oh, I had them.
Then another standout for me is the 2006 Italy World Cup colorway in the metallic chrome gold.
Okay.
With the little Italian flag on the underside of the tongue.
Yeah.
That's not even really a tongue. Such a cool football boot. But I think if I had to pick, I'd probably go for those Brazil R9 boots. I think if you're talking about Brazilian themed colorways, that's the all-time greatest.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I would definitely say I had them as a kid, and I always thought, why did I get this one? Out of all the cool Vapor 3 colorways, I would rate that as what did you say? Unique. That's my opinion, which is code word for this shit. But let's move. So you hated my pick and I hated yours.
Sure, that's fair.
Okay, that we can't always agree. Vapor 4, which I thought, I never really liked that directional change in the design language where they went from having that clean small swoosh on the side to that bigger toe swoosh. But I think the Vapor 4s did an all right job on some of the boots. For me, there were a few standout colorways. Some were really boring, some were dull. But I thought that white blues, the ices were cool, especially the SLs. Everything Vapor 4 SL is just a level above the regular Vapor 4 for me, at least.
Sure.
I loved the red golds, as in loved the red gold SLs.
Yeah.
But the pine greens for me were special. Unique colorway. Don't think we've seen anything like that ever since. And they looked so clean.
Yeah, so clean. I agree. Pine green, I think that's one of those colorways that needs to come back at some point.
Yeah.
That was a cool football boot. As a kid, I was very into the Vapor 4. I had the purple ones. There was the 2 launch colorways, the dark purple with the blue swoosh. I had a pair of those.
Yeah,
then they
same.
broke. Got a warranty replacement in the citron lime colorway. And then I made a video talking about the tragedy that was my Vapor 4 SL in the dark blue with the Volt swoosh. What was it called? Marina blue. Marina blue with Volt.
Yeah.
I really liked that one as a kid. That was my favorite one.
Okay.
But looking back, I think I would have to choose. I'd be between the Rosa colorway.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the standout, and I really still want a pair, is the Euro 2008 colorway in the brown with the white swoosh and the baby blue bottom. Cool.
Those SLs, I mean, they're naughty, aren't they? But the roses, of course, not to forget those. Super iconic colorway. They just, I just like the pine greens a little bit more. But yeah, fair shout for all of them. Okay. See, this one's kind of tough because then Nike made, they had up some roughiest. Let's just put it like that. Vapor 5 was an absolute tragedy, an absolute disgrace of a football boot and a black spot on the Mercurial Vapor name. And the Superfly one was cool and the idea was cool, but it wasn't worthy of the Superfly name. One of the coolest names ever for like a product, Superfly. Are you kidding me? How awesome does that sound? Yeah, they might have called it Superfly Uber Duper 3000. That would be the only thing that could make it more awesome, right? I love that name. Design was cool. Boot sucked. Okay. But, the colorways, they weren't that good. The launch colorway, I really enjoyed that. But the best one, and I think we agree, has to be, you can say it. Let's see if we agree.
The white, black, and pink colorway. Yes. And it sucks that we're just like rattling off these random colors because the vast majority of colorways didn't have names like they do now. So you're kind of just stuck to remembering the made up colors that Nike has, like where black was never black. It was always like dark obsidian or something like that.
Black has always been black though. White and black have, but whereas the pink has always been sort of like circus seal dolphin shady pink or something like whatever.
Nike's always had very creative names for their stuff. Yeah. I just think that this generation of Mercurial, I was just never crazy about the graphic. I really liked it at the time, but now looking back, I'm not as crazy about it. Superfly one, though, so historically significant for what it represented in the football boot industry. I think football boots were already going towards this very tech-forward approach, and that took it to an extreme we had never seen before. Agreed. Despite the football boots, for many people, I'm not going to say everyone, but for many people being borderline unwearable, including myself.
Yeah.
Also, what's kind of cool about the launch colorway of Superfly 1 is it never did actually release to the public. And so it kind of has that.
It was so cool that we got the future DNAs. So, that's, as you said before we started, that's the cop-out answer. Just say the launch colorway. And it is cool. The white, black, pinks, I reckon are a bit cooler.
Such a cool boot.
All right, so that was that off the list as well. We move on to the Superfly 2 and the Vapor 6. I'm not going to talk about the Vapor 6. It was butt ugly. Don't want to talk about it. Superfly 2. So Superfly 2 was one of those boots that, as a silhouette, it doesn't look very Mercurial-y, does it?
No, it's chunky.
It's chunky. It's a bit thick in it. With that said, I love the World Cup 2020. What am I saying? 2010. That's what I'm going for. World Cup 2010. Wow. It's been a long day apparently. Elite Pack from 2010, right? So iconic, so beautiful. Has this like silver or light purpley, whatever. And the story around the colorway was absolute nonsense. You know, it was designed with that exact color that you could see out the corner of your eye, help your peripheral vision spot your teammate, blah blah blah. But colorway was cool. And of course the Safaris.
The Safari, the original CR7 signature colorway. And I know he wore some boots somewhat exclusively until that point, but that was the first one that had CR7 on it. Granted, it was just on the insole. But
so Safaris or Elites? Safaris, right? Safaris.
I feel like I have to say Safari just based on the World Cup Elite Pack being available on everything.
But is exclusivity, is that going to sway our opinion when it comes to like what's visually the best looking?
Yep, I'm a sucker for Safari print. Okay, I would say CR7 Safari.
So you're a sucker for you're on the hype train. You're basically the hype beast of football boots.
I am.
Have it. It's official. It's on video now. This is the only thing I've been after for 126 episodes. For you to admit this, we can close up the podcast. That's all.
Okay, fine. I'll accept it. I'll accept it.
Now, I think I agree with you. That the Safari boot is the most visually appealing and it's the most special. It took a risk and it worked. It paid off.
And I will give an honorable mention because I really didn't think that this generation of Mercurial had a very good looking graphic. I hated the half and half look for the most part. And again, they were going with this flicker technology where it made the football boots more visible. But shout out to the white, blue, and purple colorway. Wind Chill, I think, is one of the colors in that one. Those ones were pretty cool.
I have that.
Do you actually have a pair?
I have it. Just give me a second.
I think that was the best looking of the bunch. So it was white with a black swoosh on the outside, which kind of gave it this really classic clean look. And then on the inside, you had this splash of like really bright blue and purple. So it had this cool duality to it where it was so sleek and almost classy on one side and then very flashy on the other.
Yeah, I guess they're cool and all, but fair enough.
I think a lot of people really like those.
They're unique. They're not. They're all right. They're all right. They're definitely one of the better ones. I'll give that to you. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Superfly 3s. Basically a Superfly 2 with a slightly different design and a wee bit lower toe box. And I was struggling, man.
Yeah, this is probably the worst generation for colorways.
Like what the? But then I realized that pinstripe CR7. What's it called? What's the English word? When something, the asymmetrical design. Where the pinstripes were on the medial side on one boot and the lateral side on the other. Wicked, super cool, unique. I'd take that on a modern boot. That takes the cake for me.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the one standout. Again, the black on black with the Volt swoosh Safari print one.
Yeah,
CR7
cool.
second signature. Safari, that was a really cool boot as well. But in terms of just being really unique, it was cool to have a football boot that had pinstripes, which was already kind of weird, and then it had a different look from the left side than it did it from the right side, which
cool.
I don't know. Cool. It was cool. It was a cool idea.
Yeah. So it's fair to say that, the boots were absolute garbage, right? But they did well with the colorways.
Sure.
Reasonably well, at least. Vapor 8. We got back on track. Things got a little weird with the whole mango vibe in the beginning, but the boot was fantastic, and I think they made some decent colors. The black Volt was pretty good, I would say. White, blue, cool, but what takes the cake for me is the Clash pack. The white it was pinkish red, and then that black swoosh. Mwah.
And I agree with you on that one. That was such a clean colorway. Very, very simple by Nike standards. But I liked it. You could only really see it if you had it in person, because there wasn't very many websites that took pictures that allowed you to see it, because it was just tricky. But in clear, you actually had the color code for the red,
RGB,
green, blue to create that exact shade of pink or blue or green or black that was on all the different colors. It was just such a cool little detail that you could only see up close. And that for me is probably the standout for sure.
How high would you rate the Clash pack in terms of tournament packs ever? Because for me, it's pretty high.
I think it's up there because, I mean, 2010 World Cup probably did the best job, and it made the most sense to make all the different boots within Nike's lineup look the same. So you had this crazy presence of having all these players seemingly wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think that this pack had a really good cohesiveness across the board as well. And I don't know, I'm just a sucker for the simplicity of the white and black with just a really bright accent color that wasn't overdone.
Yeah.
And it was cool how on every boot, I think the Mercs had the most amount of color to them, but the other boots had less and less kind of back towards the heel. I think that's a really solid pack.
Yeah, the Legends probably had there was a lot of black on them. It was definitely half and half, but that's, completely irrelevant. I just want to say that I think the Clash packs it's one of the best examples of same but different executions that we've ever seen on a tournament pack. Really, really good. Anyway, it's complete. We're getting off track here. Vapor 9s, also a very, very good football boot. What's your shout here?
We actually had quite a discussion on this one because I think we had a couple different limited edition CR7 boots in mind. All really cool. They did remake colorways for Vapor 9. So the 2010 World Cup,
cool.
the Chrome Line Vapor remake was really cool.
Yeah.
But then we remembered that the CR7 Galaxy was part of the Vapor 9. And I think for me, that's the football boot that really stands out for that generation.
I am inclined to agree with you, but I will say, and now I'm just showing off, right? I will say that this the white, black, and gold coin Vapor 9 is just such almost should be like a study in beauty through simplicity. And the fact that the big man himself signed them, I know I haven't been able to shut up about them since it happened, but I think you could have asked me beforehand and I would have said these as well. I think they're stunning, but the Galaxies are good too.
Yeah, Galaxy for me, that's still a football boot that if you put it on the shelf today, a lot of people would pick that up over anything that's currently available.
Absolutely. So we move into the Superfly 4 and the Vapor 10.
Again, a lot to choose from, and I think a lot of people would probably say that launch colorway in Hyper Punch,
which was
a great colorway, super unique. I think what's cool about that colorway is it has such a different look depending on the lighting because of the slight variation in color that you have within the Flyknit itself. And look, it's a really, really unique colorway. I'll give them that.
But
I think there's also a shout for the
CR7 Gala
the
Night.
Superfly was really cool.
Which one?
The the Superfly?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah. Oh, I just had to think
I almost forgot about them.
Yeah. No, me too.
That was a cool idea.
Yeah. Never really liked how it looked. It was a cool idea, yeah, but never. It was unique. Gala Night. Gala Night was cool.
Night. That was the black sparkly one, right?
Black sparkly one, yeah. That was good. Very, very good. And then they made these, which was Gala Night with gold sprinkles on instead for CR7. 333 pairs made. So that was really wicked. I have that's the other one. I have here number, what is it? Oh, it says here 257. That's a crap number, but an absolutely beautiful pair of football boots.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about that football boot is I almost feel like it was the first time that the internet was able to peer pressure Nike into making a football boot. Because when Rare Gold was first shown to us, it was the custom football boot made for Cristiano Ronaldo in celebration of him winning the Ballon d'Or. And everybody so badly wanted Nike to actually make this boot. They eventually did months later, seemingly for no reason at all, other than to just satisfy the internet. And again, super limited quantities, but...
It was always the plan, though. It was always the plan, but, I don't remember why. I just remember, thinking back then that when they were shown, it was like, oh, shit, these are going to be so hard to come by. Obviously, we knew they were going to come out. They only came out on Nike.com, which was the biggest piece of rubbish ever. I mean, give them to the retailers, man. We're the specialists there, right? So we were fuming, but it took an L. So I had to pay like an arm and a leg for these, but yeah, like stunning, absolutely stunning.
The silver ones were also Superfly 4 had a lot of really good colorways.
Yeah.
The silver ones, they looked a little bit like an art project, but they were cool. And I also really liked on both of the regular sparkly CR7 colorways, the blue tint they did to the carbon fiber on the sole plate. That was a very cool little detail.
You're right. Yeah, they made some cool ones. They also made the Quinhentos. That was pretty nice as well, which was the Vapor 3 Chrome Red, Chrome Burgundy.
Yes, those were also really good.
And Vapor 10 Radiant Reveal. What an awesome colorway.
Yeah, that was really cool as well. And I think it did look better as a Vapor than it did as a Superfly.
Agreed. Vapor 11, easiest choice because this might be one of the best looking Mercurials ever in my book. BHM.
Yep, and I agree with you. And I think we talked about Vapor 11 and Superfly 5. And I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I was never really a huge fan of that graphic package at all. And BHM just doesn't have any of it. Instead, it goes for something that actually looks really good. And I think that's definitely the standout from that generation.
I agree. I'm just like, where am I Superfly? Yeah, it's reorganizing your stuff is never a good idea. Where the hell are they? Can you see?
It's okay. Don't even worry about it, Jay.
We got the BHM, so that's cool. It's nothing's gonna beat the BHM. So the Superfly 6 and the Vapor 12. I have brought these because I think these are really cool. The Chapter 7 CR7s, and I know you don't agree, but I had to bring them.
Yeah, I think those are good looking boots. I was never a fan of the fake carbon fiber thing. I think Nike. They've done carbon fiber before. They do it so well aesthetically. I don't know. I always thought that boot ended up looking a little bit cheap because of it. For me, the one that jumps out in my mind, and it's hard for me to say that it's my absolute favorite, but it's the one that I immediately think of, and it's the CR7 Chapter 6 colorway, which was the Portugal-themed one in like the teal, green, blue. I think that's a colorway that it shows off the technicality of the boot within the Flyknit itself, which I think is always really cool. I like the gold swoosh, the detail within it. I like the C logo on the heel. I think that was a cool change up from just having CR7 plastered on the side. It shows off the tech while also looking good. So that's cool to me.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. What about the Level Up? Level Up was pretty cool too as well, right?
Level Up is also really cool. Again, Safari print I think is always neat. And the fact that it was all reflective, it had this cool subtlety to it. I also think, and I had a pair of these stolen. This is actually how me and you originally kind of met officially, was the Off-White Vapor. I think that was a very historically significant football boot in that it was not the first time, but Off-White at the time, and I guess even still now, was such a significant thing in terms of what was happening with Nike and sneakers. For them to do a football boot, people kind of lost their mind, even though it really wasn't that extraordinary at the end of the day. I think it's a cool looking football boot, but I think a lot of people would probably point that out as being one of their favorites from that generation.
Yeah. I'm not, it was all right. But it was a significant football boot because it helped, we started talking after following each other and apparently hating each other with a passion for years. Then we started talking and realizing, we could definitely be friends. And lo and behold, I think I don't know what you say, but I think we could call ourselves friends. These
could.
days. We
Although,
could.
Jay, have you seen how much money people are making boxing?
Yeah, I don't think I fancy my chances, to be honest. So I'll just take an L there. Let's just be friends instead. Vapor 13, Superfly 7. Lots of great colorways. I love the Terra pack. Really, really cool.
That's a weird pick, Jay. Wow.
Really?
I like them too, but that's a weird pick.
I thought they're wicked. The all whites, great. You know that neighborhood pack, Superfly, Vapor, wicked. But single stay for me is there's just something to this. The how they've used the high tenacity yarns, made those orange. You know, these little arrows that were accentuated. It looks like something you did on Nike ID that really works. I mean, I'd probably, because I'm awesome working on Nike ID, that I would probably have designed these myself.
Yeah, you really like that one from day one.
I do.
That's not a super surprising pick for me. I'm going to do honorable mention, the Mbappe Rosa remake. Very cool.
Great.
Such a flashy football boot.
Yes.
I've said before, I'm a big fan of the Speed Freak Neymar colorway, which, if I'm not mistaken, ended up being his final signature with Nike. Those were cool.
No, those were the what were they called?
Oh, you're right. It was the
Merjogo.
rainbowy one.
Yeah, Merjogo. But yeah, Speed Freaks
which I
was
did
were the
not-
last ones he officially supported really well.
Yeah, you're right. That's my mistake. Future DNA Superfly 1 remake on the Vapor 13 was a really cool idea. And I also really liked the canceled but eventually released anyways Olympics colorway, which was the white with the lightning bolt swoosh that had the gradient and then the fade within the sole plate as well from left to right, which was really cool. But if I have to pick a favorite, most unique, the one that I think of, it's the South Korea Superfly and Vapor.
Of course.
With the white tiger stripes.
Yeah, how could
Those
I
were
forget?
cool.
Wait, I know why I forgot, because Nike only sold those themselves.
Oh,
But yeah, the Neymar Speed Freaks, they hit different.
yeah,
Cool.
those are cool shoes.
I might consider putting those on the list as well. They're very good. Now, Josh, we're back to the future. The Superfly 8 and the Vapor 14. I'm just looking back here, and we have some decent colorways. I think it's all right. I never really loved the launch colorway. The Dragonfly was cool-ish.
And I had that as one of my picks because I think that it really showed off the concept well,
Yes.
while also looking cool. And I
Yes.
like that. I like when the colorway incorporates the technological elements of the football boot.
Agreed. But I will say that what I think is better looking that the Dragonfly is the Rhodacious with his crazy interpretation of the Nike swoosh. That whole story about the OG Nike swoosh that was designed by this design student that Nike paid $25 for the original logo. It's simple, but yet it has a lot of stuff going on in the Vapor Posit Upper that you only really see when you get close. Tooling looks absolutely bonkers. I think it's a very, very cool and still very rich in detail pair of football boots. Very well done. And it's a shame this was like an Olympics boot that it should have been an inline, the main colorway. It killed it.
Yeah, I really like those.
Probably my favorite so far, to be honest.
I would agree with you on that, although I have a few more honorable mentions in the Dream Speed 4. You know what? I actually think those look really cool in person. I like those. I know you don't, but I really like the fade. I like the little bit of chrome. I like the concept of it. I think it's a cool looking football boot. And I've heard some huge negativity, but also some positivity on the new KM Flames colorway. I think those look quite good in person.
Okay. I mean, I don't think they're bad, but I wouldn't say that they're up there. They remind me a little bit of that Superfly 2 launch colorway, which I wasn't blown away by. So, I mean, they definitely look better on foot, just like the new Recharge boots, by the way, than they do in hand, for me at least. And I'm going to say something that's a little bit crazy. I know I've said I'm a Vapor guy, right? But I kind of prefer, there's something about the visual side of wearing a Superfly with the way the sock kind of integrates into the lower leg with the current generation. I've started to kind of lean towards wearing Superfly just because it makes me feel a little bit more, I don't know. It's a psychological thing, but I appreciate that. But there's the black, the original black, yellow orange, which is also pretty wicked.
Yeah. I don't love those as much, but I think unanimously we agree that Raudacious was the best colorway from the current generation so far.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 girls over drinks, Josh. You know what's coming. Which is the best colorway of all the ones we have mentioned here today?
Oh my gosh.
See, this is the reason we don't do podcasts every week anymore, because Josh is getting sick of my 2 girls over drinks, put him on the spot kind of questions.
Okay, I'm going to answer it from this perspective.
Okay.
I think if we had an example of each of our picks on a wall, lined up,
yes,
from oldest to newest,
yes,
and we just started polling random people on which one they thought was the coolest,
right,
visually most interesting, I really, really feel like the CR7 Galaxy Vapor 9 would win. And I think it goes, and I know it's just like, oh, they put space on a football boot. Big deal. But I just feel like that is such a visually interesting product.
I understand where you're coming from. And, I think it's definitely, that's a fair choice, yeah. Would the rare golds beat them? I think maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe, just maybe. But I think we're definitely, yeah. That's fair. The Safaris, rare golds, or the Galaxies are definitely up there. And funnily enough, they're all made for CR7.
CR7's had so many football boots from Nike. He was bound to have a couple on this list.
Yeah. Okay, I think I can agree with that. Maybe the BHMs, but they're not as super flashy as the others. So yeah. One of those 3, I think that's a fair shout. Okay.
We agree.
But the biggest question here today, and that is going to be the question of the episode. We're going to save your questions for the next episode of the Bootnerds podcast. But which would be your pick for let's do all the generations? So you've heard our list. Just do a list with all your favorites in the comment section right down below. I know not a lot of people will do it, but I'm actually really interested in hearing your thoughts. So give them to us and let us know what you think. Of course, also if you have any questions you'd like us to answer in the next episode of the Bootnerds podcast, which will be episode 127. Ridiculous. We've made so many. Leave them in the comment section below as well. Of course, if you like watching the Bootnerds podcast or listening to it, leave us a like on the video. It will be greatly appreciated. And also remember that if you haven't subscribed yet, do so. Click the little bells notification button so you get a notification when we drop a new video. And also, if you want to watch more boot shenanigans, go to Josh's channel, SR4U, or what I'm doing over at Unisport. Go subscribe there. It's all good fun. And Josh, unless you have anything wise to say at the end, I have been JayMike, and I approve this beautiful message.
No wisdom from me. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.